Have you been stuck playing a piece for months on end?
Yep, that's me.
Your back and wrist writhe in pain from poor technique? Can't find the secret chords to please the Lord?
Well, click off now, because this is the wrong video.
Hey villagers, it's Jason and I'm bringing you 5 steps on how you can finish learning your music. Chances are you wanted to learn this piece because you've already heard it before. As you're learning it, it's best to listen to it over and over because it's going to be both a source of inspiration to be able to play that piece, but also a thing to kind of get the sound that you're looking for. Now, there are many ways to learn to play your instrument, whether you're learning to play from sheet music, by ear, improvising from a list of chords or like a fake book, tab if you're a guitarist, even visual learning tools like Synthesia and Rocksmith. I won't argue which method is best here. These are all just ways to express musical ideas to others, but the following steps should help you. Step 1. Categorize the music that you're playing into sections and practice each of those sections in small manageable chunks. Practicing piece by piece and giving each section repetition will help train your muscle memory. Completing a section also gives the satisfaction of having something sizable to perform while you're working towards the overarching goal of performing a full piece. Once you've categorized your music, I think the best way to learn the music is just hitting the notes. Don't worry about how fast you're playing the song just yet. Just hit the right notes. If you're improvising, the rules on these correct notes are a little bit more relaxed. The whole idea is to not worry about speed of your performance. Just kind of relax, take it slow. We're gonna build up the speed afterward. Get your left hand down, your right hand down, and then combine them together. Sometimes the piece is simple enough you can just do both ends at the same time, and it'll be faster to learn them both together rather than each separately and then together. At this point, you should be able to hit all of the notes correctly, or at least a small section of the piece. It shouldn't be a big focus of yours to be able to hit the correct notes for the entire song. You hit all the correct notes to a small section or even a small chunk of a section, and now you can speed that baby up. But don't just mindlessly speed it up. Hitting the right notes and playing at speed is usually a good start. If you're struggling to play at speed, then consider altering your technique. And that means analyzing other performances or looking for finger configurations for specific sections. Once you're at speed, there's still a myriad of things to consider. The most critical of which I would argue is your dynamics, or how loud you're playing each note. That can either help or ruin a performance pretty easily. If you focus on that, you'll be pretty solid. But other important things to consider are your phrasing and rhythm, and generally how expressive you play. After factoring in these performance boosters, you should now be able to play a small chunk of a section. If you add chunk by chunk, you'll slowly piece together a section. Piece together more sections, you'll end up getting a full performance. You should be comfortable performing this live. So to give an example of just learning kind of a small chunk at a time and building up the music so you can actually get to the full performance, I have here Liebestrom number 3 by Franz Liszt. I've gotten to measure 59-ish. This is the second cadenza, which is like a really fast part. It's supposed to be the most difficult, or maybe not the most difficult, but technically challenging. And I haven't learned it yet. I absolutely cannot play this. But putting this methodology into practice, I'll put a time lapse of myself learning it, and you can see how quickly I end up overcoming the challenges of learning difficult pieces. Here is the portion right before the cadenza on measure 58. And then there's some crazy magic that goes on, and then it goes like, yeah, they just pretty much barfed rainbows and butterflies all over the keys. Anyways, we'll get into practicing now. This is a small chunk of a section. The ending chunk of a section is the last thing before you finished a full section. I would argue that there's 3 sections in this song. I've learned the first one, and now I'm about to finish learning the second. All I have to do is learn these 2 measures. Unfortunately, this is a rather difficult chunk. Way up high, you have an E, and then you have a G, so you're like, and then it looks like it's just an alternating series of like minor thirds, if I'm looking at that correctly, but yeah, so that's one measure, just the right hand. Let's look at the right hand again. The right hand looks pretty intense in this piece of music. And then... Alright, it's left hand. First go at it. So make sure we're starting right. That's the ending of measure 59. And I think that's, yeah. And that's it. That's just the left hand. Measure 60 was really easy for the left hand. It's just, now it's about speeding it up and actually playing it together with the two hands. We're getting our first attempt at both hands. From there, we'll just combine it together and hopefully get something that's pretty quick. Actually, it's going to be pretty slow, but we'll get something correct that's slow. But at least it's correct. We'll figure out how to speed it up, and as we're speeding it up, I'll probably have to correct my technique. Well, actually, I already know what's going on, so I'm going to trust my instinct and not use the sheet music. Well, I'll use it for the first attempt just to show you. The second attempt and on, I'll definitely just be looking at my hands, because this is pretty technical. Wait, what? That's AC, but that's weird. Am I playing the wrong notes already? It's actually a major second, it seems. Yeah, it's A natural, and then that's C flat, which is a B. That's a major second. Okay, so yeah, we had it wrong. Major 6 and then major second. Top one is descending major thirds, and the bottom one is descending minor thirds. Interesting. I'm gonna look dumb in the beginning of this video, but it's fine. So this is my 5th attempt at this, and I am not going to look at the sheet music at all, just to show how quickly I've built up a mental mapping of what I'm supposed to be playing. It's going to be slow still. You can see it's sped up a bit, and I didn't have to look at the music at all. I don't have my muscle memory, it's in my mind, but... We're getting faster now, but phrasing could be better. I can't keep up the pace once I've started. Fingers want to do it, but just have to slow it down a little bit. My muscle memory isn't quite there yet. The difficulty here is really being consistent. Because at this point, I think it's quite important to start taking into consideration all the different attributes or qualities of the music that are kind of given to you in the interpretation or in the sheet music or whatever you're using. Here in the sheet music, you'll see diminuendo, decreasing volume. So, I mean, you can imagine that earlier on we're pretty loud, and then as we start doing this cadenza, we're decreasing volume. And here we're getting lighter and lighter, more slow. Hold the notes here. So put that into practice to take these into consideration once you're getting up to speed. You don't want to practice bad habits and then have to relearn what you've already learned. So now that you're getting up to speed, make sure you're actually taking into consideration all these qualities and attributes. Alright, so at this point I started noticing that measure 60 is not that difficult in comparison to measure 59. 59 is where you have to be fast, and 60 you can start to slow down. There's a lot of room to be precise with my movements, and now I'm kind of more so just focusing on measure 59. I'm going to take a couple hours of break time. When you're taking a break, if you think about what you've been practicing, whether subconsciously or consciously, chances are you'll improve thinking about what you're supposed to do in order to actually perform the piece. Yeah, we'll see differences, the changes that happen. We've had a little bit of practice today, but definitely not as much as last time. I just want to show you what progress has been learned subconsciously and what muscle memory has stuck. Here's the measure before. So it's not bad. Definitely could be sped up, but as you can see, we went from not knowing it at all to pretty much being able to play it in a live setting at a comfortable speed. Hopefully this video has been helpful for you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.